Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Peace, love, and positivity to you. My name is Sohum, and today I'll be reacting to John Lennon and his son, Julian Lennon. As is the case with the sons, the daughters of many famous singers, movie stars, they too get inspired and want to proceed in that profession later on in their own lives. And I can imagine being a kid in that position you just must feel so much pressure, right? The entire world, eyes on you from day one. Hey, are you going to do what your dad does? And if now those thoughts are in your brain, are you going to do it better than your father? Are you going to do it different? How are you going to ever form an identity that is separate from the person who's taking care of you and loves you, but also has this infinite stardom? They should make movies about that kind of thing. Hint, hint, I'm pretty sure they do. I'm super excited to be checking these out today because A, it is John Lennon, what a beast, and B, I've never heard Julian Lennon before, so I am very curious to hear what similarities, what differences may exist, because apparently Julian, too, he had his own successful music career, so a lot to look forward to in this video today, and that is all thanks to this reaction request coming from Rodney. Thank you very much, my friend, for bringing John and Julian to the channel. I think you did a really unique reaction request today. Now, my friends, let's jump into it.
People say I'm crazy,
Interesting, I like
doing what
that.
I'm doing. Well, they give me all kinds of warnings to save me from ruin.
It's like you have this very persistent beat, a simple chord transition in the keyboard up and down. What makes it slightly complex is that you have this intermittent melody. I think it's coming from like a harpsichord or something like that. And that melody, it is almost a bit out of tune, if you can hear it. It is very slight. It feels close to the pitches, but it's not quite. And it doesn't feel dissonant, at least not to me, but you can notice a bit of the microtone difference. So it's interesting to have that like very clear, identifiable melody in the roots and something a bit more complex above.
Well, they give me all kinds of warnings
It creates like a bittersweet kind of feeling.
to save me from ruin. When I say that I'm okay, well, they look at me kind of strange. Surely you're not happy now, you no longer play the game. People say I'm lazy, dreaming my life away. Well, they give me all kinds of advice designed to enlighten me.
So this is like, now I'm understanding more of the song, a message from father to son. Here are the lessons that I have to pass down to you in life. Dude, that is so poetic, Rodney. Awesome picks.
Designed to enlighten me.
John, then Julian, and the message that
When I tell them
carried
that
down.
I'm doing fine, watch your shadows on the wall. Don't you miss the big time, boy, you're no longer on the ball. I'm just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round. I really love to watch them roll. No longer riding on the merry-go-round. I just had to let it go.
like the wheels, like we've returned back home with this song, right back to that main riff.
People asking questions, lost in confusion.
I gotta say, like watching the visuals of these like old family videos, but knowing that it is John, knowing that it is Julian, and where they were, how far they've come. This is just like such a well-made video, and it really like tells generations of story. I don't know if in this song there's any specific lesson being given other than like the broad conversation about lessons being passed down. If there have been, I guess I've missed a few of them. But the melody, it is so lovely too. This beat persists in your brain. I feel like you could just infinitely loop what we're hearing here.
In confusion. Well, I tell them there's no problem, only solutions. Well, they shake their heads and they look at me as if I've lost my mind. I tell them there's no hurry, I'm just sitting here doing time. I'm just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round. I really love to watch them roll.
I think I'm understanding something else about this song, but let's let it play out.
No longer riding on the merry-go-round. I just had to let it go. I just had to let it go.
Ambiguous melodic
I
landing.
just had to let it go.
Interesting ending. Yeah, oh god, this is a cool song. I need to, I think, give you guys my new interpretation of this track because I feel like it also either changes what I believed before or at least enhances it slightly. But I think I'm understanding now that this song, in addition to being like some kind of story, some kind of lessons being passed down from father to son, I think it is also a response to like John and maybe his critics in particular, who may view like him spending time with his family as like adverse to his career, because the kinds of like questions he's like getting, people are asking him like, hey, why aren't you still doing this thing? And he is like fit to say, well, I don't want to do those things. I'm actually just okay doing this rather banal activity, which is raising my children. That's sarcasm, by the way. It's important to raise our children well. We shouldn't feel shame in doing that. And I feel like you'll get these kind of like encroachments on our own lives in environments like social media, tabloids and the gossip journals and all that kind of stuff, where people with far too much time on their hands are willing to like fully psychoanalyze every little behavior that you do. And in addition to that, are also always constantly on this like hamster wheel of success in terms of like your career, and what I know you for is the only thing that you should be doing. And in a weird way, even though they're like praising your musical ability, they are inadvertently dehumanizing you by kind of reducing you to just that part of your identity. Because musicians and famous, vocalists and all of the amazing people like that in the world, they are that, and they are the rest of the things that make them human. But oftentimes, because we only view them through that specific lens, people can feel a bit of entitlement in being allowed to like say what they should be doing in their lives or not. So if John Lennon, with all of his success, with all of history bearing down on him, telling him to make new music, if he just wants to spend time with his children, he should have every right to do that and not feel pressured by anybody else. So I feel like watching the wheels is a way of like him saying, I'm watching my son grow up, and it's maybe a small thing to you, but it means everything to me. So if that's the meaning, I think it's even more lovely than what we had before in terms of understanding. And you pair that with just the beautiful melody and messaging from John in this song. It's pretty fun. I enjoyed this listen. But let's check out what his son Julian has in store for us. This is Too Late for Goodbyes. A nice bounce in this. I was not expecting the falsetto there. You can hear some similar vocal qualities between Julian and John. Love the harmony they end on there. Curious how old Julian is in this video here. Julian Lennon age during Too Late for Goodbye. According to Google, he was 21 during this recording here. The simple structure to the song. Cool that we get the harmonica. Persistent just bounce is like, it's so youthful feeling. Like a persistent like head bump. Funky bass to round it off. It's cool with me. Too Late for Goodbyes, Julian Lennon. Yeah, let's talk about it. I have a few notes, and I'm curious to know what you guys think. So just leave your thoughts in the comments. But you can definitely tell the difference in just the types of musicians John and Julian are, and that's why I said earlier, like, it is okay for his son, John, Julian, to have a different musical identity. They don't have to exist in the same place for it to be good or bad, because it's all about one's execution and if they themselves feel their music. Because I feel like when you yourself love your own music, you're likely to produce the music that everybody else loves as well, or at least a devoted fandom. I feel like what we had with this Julian track here was pretty simple, all in all, in terms of riffs, in terms of drum beat, in terms of just the melodic progression. So I didn't get as much personality from Julian in this listen like I felt like I did from John in the first track. Because Julian, in his voice, he has a lot of, you can tell he's a young vocalist and rather just youthful in terms of songwriting approach. And there's just an air of simplicity, not to confuse simplicity with, a song sounding good. It, again, just depends on the execution. Simple songs can be great. They can also be bad. I feel like we're just somewhere in the middle of like, this is a highly memorable song that makes a splash for what it is, but doesn't to me last the test of time. I think it can be more of like a cultural phenomenon in the moment, but in terms of musicality, I'm lacking a little bit. That's all in contrast to what we got from John Lennon, because in his track, there was naturally a bit more maturity in his voice. He's already coming off of being a massive star in terms of the musical world and just popular culture in general. So really everything that he does, there is a spotlight on him, and he doesn't opt for something that everybody can wrap their brains around. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of nuance even in that like riff that kind of gets repeated over and over, and then towards the end, like the last 30 seconds, you get an interesting melodic movement that sort of stylistically changes what that song feels like, because throughout there's a lot of warmth, there's a lot of this ballad kind of feel going on, and then we shift entirely almost into like some diner jazz. So I think in terms of dynamics, we got a lot more from John Lennon's track than we did from Julian. But if there is more Julian to check out that, would shed more light on his career as a musician, whether he stays this way and takes a very poppy approach, or if he himself matures in his performance and songwriting, I'd be very curious to check that out. So if you are interested and want to make a reaction request, you can do so by hitting the first link in the description box below. But thank you all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.